Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the rumors are true. You can manifest your person exactly as you want them. Now, the principles in this video will be aiding in both manifesting a person back or fixing a present relationship that's not up to scratch or manifesting someone brand new. So no matter what side of the fence you are on, you can and ideally should take on board what I'm about to be talking about. So, without further ado, drop me a like and a comment on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to click that bell icon. And now let's get started. So, what many people do, just for a little bit of background, is they see XYZ thing or hear XYZ thing and then assume that's it. And what I mean by this is, say you're manifesting someone new and you have a relatively distinct set of traits that you would like in a person. People around you may say things like, oh, maybe you should settle a bit. Maybe you should lower your expectations or your standards. And it creates this assumption that what you want isn't out there. Or on the flip side, you're with someone or trying to get someone back, but because you've seen them be XYZ way, it's very difficult for you to then to assume that they're the new and more desired way. Now, let me tell you, in both of these experiences, the only reason you don't have what you want is because you're allowing the assumption that what you want doesn't exist, or what you see just simply is what it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not that those things are true, and therefore creating the assumption. It's that you assume they are true, thus reinforcing the assumption through physical experience. As with anything in this process, your reality is a blank canvas. What you paint on it depends on consciousness. It's not an already painted canvas that creates consciousness. It's the other way around, despite how we may have been brought up. So what I urge you to do, whether you're manifesting your dream girl or guy, or whether you're manifesting your previous person back, or a fix in a relationship that may not quite be where you want it to be, is to make use of a list method. Now, when I say list method, I don't mean Joseph Allies, like writing out a couple of little sort of negligible desires and just sort of ticking them off as they come. That's his thing. That's not what I'm talking about here. I mean listing the qualities of what you would like in your experience. What I recommend first and foremost is starting with your needs. So I need SP to be loyal. I need SP to respect me. I need SP to, what's another need that people have? Post me on social media, for example. And once you've got clear on your needs, you then move on to your wants. These are things that aren't like deal breakers, but would be ideal. This could be, I want SP to offer me a shoulder massage once a week. Or I want SP to bring me flowers or chocolate at least once a month. Things like that. And what this is essentially doing is it's just building the blueprint of what you wish to experience. I recommend starting with needs first because, in my experience, if something hasn't fully materialized in the way that you want, but the most important factors have, it's much easier to then manifest those additional wants than it is if it was the other way around, where the wants manifest trying to make the needs happen. For example, if you manifest loyalty, respect, and posting you on social media, but they're not bringing you flowers once a month, if you're being respected, having loyalty, and being posted on social media, you'll typically be in a much better state to then assume that flowers can come and make it happen. But on the flip side of that, if you're one of their 5 options, if they treat you like crap, and if they tell you that they don't want to post you because they don't want their friends and family to know about you, but they're bringing you flowers once a month, it's not going to feel anywhere near as good and it may be a little bit more difficult for you to sit in a space of everything's great when your needs aren't being met. So I accentuate the point of getting needs together, because if you feel good, ticking off those little additional things becomes a cakewalk. Whereas if you feel terrible and like you're not being valued in one form or another, who cares if they're bringing you flowers if they're dropping you to go see someone else 20 minutes later, for example. So start with the needs, get clear on those first. Those are going to be the focal points, and then you can manifest the additional wants as well. But this is just building your blueprint, your perfect new person, a revamped version of your current person, or just a general fix in what it is that you're experiencing. And you get those down. With that, you then want to take that into consideration with what you do going forward. Now, there are a multitude of different ways you could manifest: affirmations, 10K challenge, set it, forget it, visualization, so on and so forth. Every method is just a different mode of transport to get you from where you are to where you desire to be. While I do think SATs being done correctly is probably the most effective manifestation method, for many people, getting into SATs, into the state akin to sleep, and doing it properly can be a little bit of a graft, leading people to be more frustrated than successful. So while I do think it may be the best method, what I urge you to do is what feels best for you and gets you into the state. Using the mode of transport analogy, yes, driving your own car to the place may be best, but if your car isn't working properly, or if it's, during rush hour or something like that, or you want to have a drink, can't drive back, maybe better for you to use a taxi or public transport or something. While it may not be the best method, that doesn't mean the others don't work. So if you can do SATs and you can do it great, I would recommend making use of that, at least having it in your arsenal, even if it's not the only method you use. But if you can't, don't feel like you are now subject to failure because you can't do SATs. Because despite my recommendation of SATs, I don't use it as much as I probably should. Because while I've had a lot of success with it, I also just find myself wanting to fall asleep at night just peacefully, like normal. So don't think that you have to. Don't think that I'm saying if you're not doing SATs, then, that's it, you failed, just for the purposes of covering the bases of these videos. But what you're going to do is take your desired mode of transport. Affirmations, fine. Scripting, fine. SATs, fine. Whatever gets you into the state more effectively. Not what I've said, not what Sammy said, not what Neville Goddard says. What helps you get into that state. And then you're going to take into consideration the things that you mentioned on your list. If you're visualizing, you could visualize all the physical traits that you put on with them doing an action of a need that you want. For example, if you know that you want them to be brunette with green eyes, for example, and respecting you, you could visualize them with that appearance doing something that implies respect. Or, the end result of being in a committed relationship, if you're trying to manifest that relationship back, you could visualize yourselves having a 3-year anniversary date or something like that. The aid, and obviously I can only give you general examples, but the aid is to take your list and try and incorporate it into your manifestation work. Now, sometimes you might have things that are a little bit difficult to do two at the same time. For example, let me try and think of one off the top of my head. If you want to have, if it's a need that they post on social media, but a need that you have an amazing sex life, doing those in the same scene, you probably could. You could finish having an amazing session and then them go, you know what, I'm posting you, and you can have it all as one big scene, I suppose. But if they kind of don't really fit together in a scene, it's perfectly fine to have multiple different scenes doing multiple different things. I don't stick to just one scene, and it works fine for me. So don't listen to the dogma of if you've got more than one scene, you're confusing the subconscious mind. We have averagely something like 70 to 90,000 thoughts per day. And before you even knew about manifestation, they were creating your life. Adding one additional scene in that still implies some form of end result that your other scene is already aiding in is not going to be a problem. So don't listen to that bullshit. But you see where I'm going with it. With the affirmations, you can affirm the different elements. With the visualization, you can visualize the different elements. You can write about it in a script, so on and so forth. The aid is to take this information and start investing your thoughts, your feelings, and your awareness toward being, doing, or having that which you desire to be, do, or have. My general recommendation for a bit of a routine is, and I always advocate it because it's what's worked best for me and many of the people that I work with, 5 to 10 minutes in the morning to start the day in the end state and to make use of that sort of drowsy, sleepy state of mind, and 5 to 10 minutes in the evening, either prior to falling asleep or actually falling asleep to it, if SATS is your cup of tea. And then as you go through your day, live your life to the best of your ability, really make the most of it until your desire naturally comes to mind, to which you will refer back to your list. You'll reaffirm, revisualize, rescript, whatever you can do in that moment, just to top up your state, and then you get going again. And you rinse and repeat this until it comes, having faith and trust in the universe to bring it to you, because you've decided that it is so. Now, one more additional thing is to understand and make the decision that what you have on your list is your perfect person. Your either perfect partner or the perfect version of David or Sarah or whatever it is. And the reason why we're making that decision for the purposes of this is because if you make the decision that something is a certain way, you can then utilize that because you've made the assumption of it so. What I mean by that is if you didn't want to have 5 different affirmations doing different elements of your needs and wants from the list, you can then just affirm, I am in a relationship with my perfect person. Now that you've got an actual identified blueprint of what your perfect person is, that affirmation now makes sense. Or if you want to visualize yourself on the phone to your mother and you're saying, look, David is honestly perfect right now. We're in the perfect relationship. You've got the blueprint of what perfect means. And this way, because you've made that decision, your subconscious mind takes that in. And when you say my perfect person, it's fitting in that list, making it happen, checking it twice, naughty and nice and all that good stuff. So that's what I recommend you do. If you're trying to manifest a new love, get the list together, reside within the end result of that list being true. If you're trying to manifest a reconciliation or an improvement of a currently damaged relationship, get that list clear of how you want the relationship, how you want them to be, live in the end of it being so, and have the trust and faith that it is happening. And what I mean by that is turning away from the 3D, not giving it power, living your best life, letting the manifestation work do its thing. If you can do this, persist until it hardens into fact, you, my good friend, will be on my next success story video, and I look forward to posting it. But for now, thank you for watching. If you do need my help to tailor advice more specifically to your actual situation, instead of giving you kind of the general advice that you'll find on YouTube, I do have phone calls, video calls, and email packages available. We'll go through whatever it is, work on limiting beliefs, update your routine, provide you methods of dealing with the 3D and so on. If you're not into one-on-one coaching, but you do want more of my expertise, I do have memberships with tons, over 100 now, of exclusive videos, free products, discounts on every other product, and on the bigger tier, me affirming for you for 3 days and a 10-minute call with me per month. If you want some deeper diving self-study, I do have 3 courses available at present: the full Manifest Your Specific Person course, the full self-concept course, and the full Beating Anxiety and Overthinking course. Check them out, they're exceptional, I'm very, very proud of them. Or if you want all of that, every single thing I've just listed and more, I do have the Academy available, and the people in there are doing exceptionally well, and we've had a big chunk of people joining, which is lovely to see. So go check that out if you're interested. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you to the rest of your day. Remember, Live in the end to make tomorrow what you want, but live in the moment to make today as good as it can be. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.